Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Brandon Bing. He has just shared his awesome new single titled Faraway Soldier, and I am super excited to talk to him all about it. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
I'm good, brother. How you doing? Appreciate you having me on, Austin.
You're very welcome. I'm gonna wish you a happy Thanksgiving the day before recording this at the moment. But yeah, man. I want to hop right into it here. Usually, I wanna talk all about the song, but I really want to focus on the songwriting just to kind of kick
Okay,
things off because the songwriting is fantastic. I'd
I
love for
appreciate
you
that.
to give a background on the song and what it means to you and what it's really all about.
Yeah, so basically, I was working with I had a meeting with a gentleman by the name of Bob Crumroy, and he works with Richard Petty and NASCAR Foundation.
Sure.
Richard and him, they're big advocates for a foundation called Bikes for Kids. So they go around basically, what Bikes for Kids is it's a youth based foundation in like elementary schools. They work with Title I schools, low income students that basically get like a free lunch, or they
Okay.
might only get the only meal that they might get might just be the meal that they get at the school, for a multitude of reasons. Whether it's just low income in the household, they might have a single family home, or family member that's either deceased or incarcerated, unfortunately. So a lot of those factors, I guess, play a pivotal role on the upbringing of these students, and it's pretty much in the age group where this program is focused is between third and fifth grade. The way it was really brought to me was I have a solar company down here in Florida, and they had mentioned to me about sponsorship, where local small businesses get together and they've put up money to help buy bicycles. And so I was trying to understand the purpose of it. But basically, as they do an essay competition.
Sure.
And for example, like this, so you had 10 third grade classes, and each third grade class had 30 students, just for easy math, right? So you had 300 of these third grade students. They would do an essay over a topic based off of the book that gets put out, and answering a variety of questions. And then of course one of the students is going to win the competition. So you would generally think they're going to get a certificate award, and get rewarded with a bicycle. But the way that this Bikes for Kids Foundation is working is like youth development. So they find that a lot of these students that come from these oppressed backgrounds, they don't get a lot of guidance. They have certain
Yeah.
tools and resources that are limited, right? And so by having small businesses and other celebrities and things like that in different industries come together for this cause, they raise awareness on equality amongst them, so that these students, as they're developing, know that they're all equal. So it's instead of one student getting a bicycle and winning an essay, what happens is these sponsorships that these businesses put up help accommodate the cost of buying bicycles for all 300 students in this scenario
Oh,
that I'm giving you,
nice.
right? So the one will win the competition. However, after that child gets the bike, then they do a presentation on the stage, and they lift up like a curtain, and there's for example, there'd be like 300 bikes, the same color bike, the same bike. And the reason why they do the same bike, the same color bike and everything, is so that it's not like oh, Susie got this and Johnny got that and Billy got this. It's not like a I'm better than you thing. It's just we're all got the same bike. We all got bikes, and yeah, so it's called Bikes for Kids. And the new book is the Faraway Soldier book, which was the one that just recently released in the last few weeks. And about a year ago, I had the opportunity, or a little bit over a year ago, I had the opportunity where they reached out and asked me to write the song, for the book. So I read it, and got a chance to. It was a different perspective, because I had to take myself out of an adult mind
Sure.
and put myself in a child's mind, from the perspective of a child whose father or mother was in this case, the book was about a father, but whether it's father or mother, deployed overseas in a war effort, or just being deployed. Period. Not knowing whether or not that family member is going, that parent's going to come home, whether they're going to come home or not. And so it was kind of definitely a different angle, to
That's a
say the
lot
least.
of
In my
a lot of responsibility on your end.
Yeah, and I think I think that's why I was so excited about it.
Sure.
Um, because it gave me an opportunity to kind of like go outside the box. It gave me a chance to not be so focused on the general things that interest me, that I want to write about. I have a lot of family members and friends that are active or retired veterans, a lot of customers that are
Yeah.
disabled or retired veterans. So the military is a big deal to me in general. And I think that's what made it a little bit easier to relate to going through the songwriting process, was just understanding what that background's like and being amongst it, on a
Absolutely.
regular basis.
That's no, that's a fantastic background. I'm really happy you went in depth there. And I also have to
Hmm.
say the song itself is just beautiful sounding. Like
I
everything
appreciate
about
it.
it is crisp and clean to get the message across, and it's just a really nice classic country sound. What I want to know though is that do you have any outside help when it comes to the production and like a backing band, or like is there anyone else involved in the process with you?
Yeah, so my producer, I work with Kenny Royster in Nashville, from Direct Image Studio. He's my producer. He's been working with me for 3 years now, going on four. And he has a lot of, just, he has a really good ear.
Yeah.
He's a great vocal coach.
Hmm.
He had the opportunity to be a part of, when Luke Combs was on his come up. He worked with him on his project for Hurricane and multiple other tracks, in his beginning before he got to where he is. So I had the opportunity to work with someone that's very seasoned and that's worked with a lot of great people. And then my band, my studio musicians are just top notch.
Yeah.
I get a chance to work. I've been working with them for 3 years as well. Blake Shelton's fiddle player, Janae Fleener, she plays fiddle. She's the one playing fiddle on the track. I got
Cool.
on that particular record. Also, I had Adam Schoenfeld, which does all the guitar sessions for all of Jason Aldean's albums, and also played on the road for a while for Tim McGraw.
Wow.
And then also had Tim McGraw and Faith Hill's background singer, Perry Coleman, for my harmonies. Nick Buda did a lot of stuff for Luke, and FGL and Taylor Swift. He did all the drums. Dave Francis on bass. Mike Rojas was like four-time world pianist of the year. He played keys on it. And
Damn.
then I had Brian McKnight's ex rhythm guitar player, John Willis. And then yeah, so just having all of them come together on this song was really special.
You got
And it just
quite the
was.
star-studded cast to
Mhm,
help back you up. That's amazing.
mhm.
And obviously, you gave a bit of background on how the song came about and like what it's really all about. But I want to know, how does the process start for you in terms of writing a song or even starting a song at all? Does it start with a line? Does it start with an idea at the beginning?
Yeah, so I think really awesome. Like, I mean, in general, I try to really immerse myself in my life experiences,
Sure.
whether it's through, friendships, whether it's through relationships, whether it's through work, etc. And I'm always, as a songwriter, I'm always, no matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's work or play, uh, I think one of the quirky things about me is I'm always paying attention to like really finite details
Yeah,
of what's going on around my environment, if that makes sense.
it does make sense, and you can hear that in the music too. There's not a
Hmm.
detail that's missed. It's very
Right.
well thought out.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because you only have like, I mean, you play a record, and you have your intro, so obviously the music plays a role.
Yeah.
But all in all, with the arrangement and the tempo and whatever the mood is, right? But when it comes down to the lyrics, I really focus on trying to be a storyteller and use that craft, that art of painting detailed pictures, painting settings, like establishing the root of the setting for the song up front. And then, where is that picture, where's that image of the setting going to take you? Like, I want the listener to get snagged in the first 5 to 7 seconds. Because if they're not
Yeah.
caught within 5 to 7, 10 seconds max, they're going to hit next, or,
We we
and
all have short
so,
attention spans these days.
mhm,
It's terrible,
especially
especially
with
streaming.
social
Yeah.
media. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say with streaming and social media, like the, having it at your fingertips, where when I was growing up, you didn't have a choice, like if you're listening
Yeah.
to radio, unless you wanted to change the station,
Sure.
and how many stations at that time in your
Exactly.
area, because of not having all the technology that we have now,
Right.
you only had a certain amount of reach for FM. You didn't have satellite radio
Hmm.
in the 90s and the early 2000s. It was just totally different. You know what I'm
You gotta
saying?
hook them. Gotta hook them quick.
Hmm.
Totally get that. Well, you've had a fairly prolific 2021. You've put out an EP, you've got this single out, so it's not that you're not creating, but I also want to take a look at the future. Do you have anything big coming up for this next year as we begin
Oh yeah.
to end this
Oh
year?
yeah.
Anything that
Oh
you'd
yeah.
like to talk about or anything that you want to keep
Sure.
secret?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I'll tell you. You ask the questions, I'll answer them. I
All
mean,
right.
I cut a whole new project, and I've made little like subtle. I mean, we're getting close to the end of the year, so it's like,
Right.
I mean, it's still going to be a surprise when it hits, right?
Sure,
But
sure.
I'm not going to drop dates or anything like this. But I
Yeah.
can tell you that I cut a pretty raw and just uncut, just rugged project. This next one is just going to slap in a totally different space to the listener, because I I had to kind of be really diplomatic and kind of be a chameleon,
Sure.
and for lack of a better word, like, coming in from Florida to Nashville, and going not just as a person trying to be an artist, but also an individual who's trying to really focus on, like I said earlier, my craft of being a storyteller, a singer songwriter. That's a totally different dynamic inside Nashville. Um, if I was in like Appalachia or Big Sky out west, or Kentucky or something like that, singer songwriter, bluegrass, like Americana, that would be a very easy space to establish myself.
Sure.
From the standpoint of getting visibility, right? Because that community is very tight knit. So I had to draw on my my interests, my style, and figure out what was the right approach to capture listeners early on to build an audience. Because if I just came out with all the heavy stuff and all the raw stuff at the front, not that they wouldn't have been received well, but so much music now gets released so frequently, and now you got platforms like TikTok, which I'm no good at. I mean,
Same.
not that I'm not good. Number one, I haven't put the time into it. Number two, I don't understand it. I'll probably never understand it. I really don't care to understand it.
I feel the
Um,
exact same. No
you know
shit.
what I mean?
It's,
I'm
I
not gonna sit.
mean,
I mean,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I line dance a two step, but it's like I'm not gonna sit out there and
Sure.
dance to Applebee's.
Yeah. Forget it.
but you know what I mean. Like I'm not gonna be doing that type of stuff. So anyway, no, but I say that to say this, that there's so many different ways that people are constantly getting music ingested and pushed out constantly through all these platforms. So it's overwhelming. And so, I don't want to put a project out that's going to get lost or not get any opportunity. And I kind of had a little bit of that because of the pandemic,
Sure.
because I dropped, my first song was back in 2019, which was Sunday Fun Day. And that was done in a home studio down in Florida, um, with my guitar session instructor and producer, Jeffrey Bowen. And so I worked with him on that. And that one did well, by itself, standalone. But then it was like, all right, now, you can't just keep doing this. It's not because that wasn't good. It's because if you're trying to really be an artist, and also be a visible songwriter, people got to see progress.
Exactly. Yeah,
And they
they need
also
to
got
see
to,
the evolution of you.
mm-hmm,
Can't
yeah,
be doing the
exactly.
same thing.
Hmm. And so that's really where that went. I made the Florida Man, and I'm gonna, probably at some point I'll probably make a real like Florida Man too kind of thing because
Sure.
because a lot of people, I got a lot of I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot of pushback to some degree. Well, not really pushback, just I got a lot of people at one point they were like, you called your project the Florida Man, and the music on it, the tracks weren't really like representative of the quote unquote the Florida Man,
I
and
guess.
I understood it, but I was like, my purpose of it was kind of similar to what Luke did with Hurricane. We had a bunch of hurricanes that season, and the song Hurricane came out, had nothing to do with a hurricane,
It's relevant
but
though.
you know what I mean. But it was just, it hit you like a hurricane,
Yeah,
but it made the algorithm, it pushed it up. So I was trying to
exactly.
use that,
No, no, no. That's the
knowing it a
way.
little bit. Yeah, you know
It's
what I'm
the
saying.
marketing.
So
No, no, it's the marketing side of music. And
mhm,
those people that are just straight music listeners don't understand that you can't be literal all, like sometimes you have to throw a joke in there or you have to name things, certain things that are trending. And it's just
mhm,
like that's the business side of it. But you know
mhm,
what? If you want to make something in the future that more reflects the name, go for it. Ultimately, it's your music, you're the
mhm,
person putting the effort and the time into it. So I say do
mhm.
what you want as long as it makes you happy.
Exactly. And I think, that's one of the things was I've been really fortunate that, I don't, I'm not saying I'm never, I'm not against the opportunity of getting a song on radio, like major
Sure.
satellite or terrestrial radio. I think it'd be a cool opportunity. Um,
Hell yeah.
I think that it would definitely be cool to see it get spins or get a number one like that, but through the radio channel. But at the same time, what I've found over the last 4 going on 5 years, is that my music has captured a very like cult following,
Yeah.
so my demographic of listeners is very consistent, between military, between blue collar, and farmers and rancher, kind of that rooted, like, just trade vocation kind of mindset, where a lot of people like country now, a lot of it for the most part is like pop country
Yeah.
as the majority. So you get people from, a lot of city environments, you get a lot of, hipster, you get a lot of that, a lot of that kind of transient kind of traffic, right? Where
Sure.
my stuff is more grassroots, and my fans like that support my music, under my whole Hoss Nation umbrella.
Sure.
The men and women, uh, they work hard, but they play hard, and they're what's fun about it is they're such a rowdy crowd,
Yeah. But like you're keeping it, with that vintage sound and that classic
Yeah,
sound. And personally speaking, I hate the country pop because it's more pop than country. They're
right.
trying, I understand they're trying to get listeners from both genres to come in and enjoy this one thing, but there's a certain pureness about the music that you're making that it sort of alludes to the better versions of the past.
Mhm.
Not to talk too much negativity of other
Sure.
genres, but I mean, I like what you're doing in the sense that you're keeping it pure and original. So I'd say
Yeah, and I think
keep doing
that's
what you're
you said
doing.
it. Yeah, you said a good thing there. I mean, really, my thing, Austin, with it is, I live and die by the sword. I always want people
Sure.
to know that Brandon Bing is always going to be authentic. You know, when I do it, when it's I'm authentic through the songwriting, because I'm writing the songs. I'm coming up with the depths of the details of the stories. I'm uncovering things that maybe might be uncomfortable in some aspects, other things. But I think these are all, each song that I write, and as I grow as an artist, I went from Florida Man to Dying Breed, and you could see that
Right.
improve that improvement, but you could also see that shift. Okay, Brandon went from the honky tonk. He was still the Texas honky tonk traditional, but he brought more edge with Back in the Woods and Dying Breed and Yippee Ki And the only two songs on the Dying Breed record, the EP that was not really representative of the rest of the body of work, was Oh Josephine and You Wrote Me a Letter. And that's because in the heart of the pandemic, I had a gentleman, Kelly and Josephine, Kelly had reached out to me about his wife to
Mm.
write the song for their 13th anniversary. And then Rebecca, the lady from the corner store up the road, down here in Florida. She at the time had never met her birth mom, so she wanted something because it was her first Mother's Day. So those two songs, the dynamic was I got to again step out of the box like I did on Faraway Soldier to give a perspective from someone else's life, from someone else's walk,
Sure.
and bring that streamline to something that was a special moment for them. That was a monumental moment that's only going to happen once. Rebecca was only going to meet her mother and spend that first Mother's Day one time. Kelly and Josephine are only going to have that 13th anniversary one time. So it was special in that point. But back in the woods, I got to dig into my root of my hunting background and that experience of what it's like being in the woods with my buddies, and the fellowship when we get together after we get to kill. Dying Breed, I got to really lay into a lot of my inspirations, and I brought in the ties to Texas of places that are bucket list places I want to play, and people that inspire me as a writer or as an artist, and talking about just the root of country music, like you were just mentioning, like where it came from, its historical past.
Exactly.
The real instrumentation, the real melodies and stuff like that. And then of course, Yippee Ki was that record where I got to again dig and really kind of call out the people that are fake, that emulate, that are non-authentic. You got these. You talk about pop country. You talk about people in the cats in pop country. They're in pop country. Anybody that is singing, I don't care who you are. And I say this, I don't care if it's an interview or in person. I say what I got to say because it's the facts. And I tell people all the time, if you don't like it, then you're not meant to support me, and that's cool. But I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat something, which is anybody that's doing pop country, anybody that's doing R&B country, or bringing R&B or hip hop into the dynamic of it. You couldn't make it as a pop star. You couldn't make it as an R&B star. You couldn't make it as a hip hop rapper. So because you couldn't, you're like, well, hey, this is this little like community, this microcosm of country music.
Exactly.
Let's add a little flavor to it, and let's get all the Generation Z and the millennials and get them on the bandwagon with the Instagram and the Facebook and the Reels and the TikTok, and get them on it with these catchy dances and stuff, which is cool. It's a great, like you said, the business side. Sure. And I don't knock it because I got a lot of buddies. I got a lot of great friends that are great artists in country music that are pop country artists. So I'm not knocking that aspect of it, but I am saying that a lot of it, there's a lot of individuals, there's exceptions to every rule, but there's a lot of them that come in to Nashville or trying to come into country music on the wrong pretense.
I fully agree. They think that if they can grab 10% from this genre and 10% from other and bring them in, then they can have some sort of fan base. And it's not
right.
always how it works.
Exactly. And the ones like my buddies that are in pop country that are already major, that are already on that level, signed to major labels, etc. I respect the hell out of them. Yeah. And I tell them, they inspire me because they are great writers, but they came in and that is their authenticity.
Right.
But they get agitated themselves because there's people coming into their lane and it's like, yo, why are you trying to come in? I already made that. They already made that sound. So don't try to like duplicate what they've already done.
Right.
So
Brandon, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to talk to you. I just have to say, just like a super enlightening experience and look on a genre that I don't often get to talk about, especially because I love the sound of your music. I've got one more question to ask you here, and the question is basically for those that are going to listen to your music for the first time and those that are basically going to discover you from this. What is an opening message that you'd like to say to them?
Yeah, I would really just like to say, if you want, real rooted, if you want real music that is going to paint a picture for you and give you something that every time, track by track, there's not a single track that you can't listen on any of my music that's out and any of the music that I have coming out, that you're not going to be able to literally visualize every element of every word of every line. And if you want something that's going to be, a real story, then you're gonna really enjoy that music. And I hope to see him at a show have them a part of, my
Mm,
Hoss Nation movement and stuff, and be a part of that community. And I'm gonna bust my ass every day, every project, to bring them the best music I possibly can, to be the most raw and to be the most raw, authentic, self, to them, no matter whether it's this year or 20 or 30 years from now. They're never going to have to question my authenticity through that process. I'm never going to change no matter what level of success I'm able to obtain. And I want them to be a part of that journey. I want them to be a part of their feedback, and, being able to engage with the songs allows me to just dig deeper in myself every time I write a new song. And the new project I got coming out, that's coming out next year, it's genuinely going to be something that's going to level up from everything that's already out. And I think it's going to be I think 2022 is going to be our year to stake our claim to let country music and everybody know that we're going to be here forever.
that's awesome. That's a fantastic answer, and I'm personally looking forward to what you've got coming next.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and plug it one more time for you, but Faraway Soldier is out. I hope everyone stops what they're doing and gives it a listen because it's a seriously fantastic song. And to also check out the rest of his music because it's totally worth your time. Brandon, I want to thank you so much again for taking the time out of your day to sit and speak and really open up about all this. It's been a total pleasure getting to speak with you.
I appreciate you too, Austin, and for having me on here. And I hope you have a good Thanksgiving with you and your family, and
Thank you. You as
hopefully see
well.
you at a show. See you at a show or something
Absolutely.
like that.
Take
Have a good
care, and
time.
I'll speak with you soon. Have a great rest of your
Sounds
night.
good. You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.